Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. This is Attorney Gay, and it's such a pleasure being with all of you. And I think there's some lighting issues here. So let me fix the lighting issues too. I don't know why this is happening, but it'll be alive, and let's solve this one problem first. All right. Does the light look okay? Malia?
No, there's a little issue, I guess, Mr. K, with your,
Okay, how do you
I mean, it's covering up your face.
Okay,
I
so
think,
what we can do? It didn't happen before.
I think you could remove the background and reboot it. It'll work.
You have an idea? Let's try something.
Yeah.
Folks, the webinar is live. We do apologize for the technicalities, but we are live. Just give me a quick moment. We'll try to fix this. So Malia, can continue talking, please. So.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar hosted by Green Card with Mr. Gehi. I'm Maliha Fatima, and I'm privileged to be your host for today's event. So our webinar will focus on sponsoring your spouse for a green card, a special discussion on same-sex marriage and complex immigration issues in the United States. So we would be dealing with a crucial topic for all the people aspiring to gain permanent residence or even a green card in the United States. So throughout this session, we will delve into key concepts and provide valuable insights to enhance your understanding of these issues. We've got our esteemed speaker and award-winning super lawyer for the year 2023, Mr. Naresh Gehi. He would be sharing his extensive experience and expertise, shedding light on the topic and addressing your questions as well. By the end of this session, you will have gained valuable insights applicable to your personal and professional life. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we eagerly anticipate an enlightening and engaging webinar. Welcome, Mr. Gehi. We invite you to take the floor.
Well, it's such a pleasure being with you, and thank you so much, Malia, for the warm introduction. Malia is awesome, and she'll be going a long way with our company. And thank you, Ashwat. Thank you to Ms. Matthew. Thank you to everyone who put this together. So, folks, the first thing I want to tell all of you that this is live. This is live means please ask your questions. So this is not a recorded session right now. It's a Saturday morning, and it's August 12th, 2023, 11:33 Eastern Standard Time. So welcome to the show. So today, Malia, we're going to talk about some important issues. And the whole idea for this session is for people to ask questions.
Right.
So very often people ask me about, so let's break this question down into two parts, Malia. Call it as marriage between same-sex partners and marriage between different sex partners. So the reason I use the word different is because the thing is that some people, they're not fluent in English. So I'm trying to dumb it down as much as possible. So if you're married, a man is married to a woman, that's a different sex, opposite sex partner. So what are the benefits of it? Now there's this, and we're going to give example for people of same sex, as well as for people with transgender, and as well as for people who are getting married. Now, the first question I get is, Mr. Gehi, I want to get married, and this person is a US citizen. How long is it going to take for me to get the green card? I came in with a visa in this country, and right now I am out of status. Out of status means either the person comes into the country on a B1, B2 visa, Malia. He comes in on a student visa, on another type of visa. And on most occasions, they can get the green card in the US. So I'm going to tell you, Malia, how the procedure works. Now, take an example that there's a lady. She comes to America from the UK. And she meets this man. And after dating, they decide to get married. The first step in the process is to hire a lawyer. It's very good to hire a lawyer, especially because if you get called at an interview or if your paperwork is incorrect, there will be immigration consequences. So some people get a letter in the mail that leave the country within 30 days. So you have to be careful of those issues. So what you do is, like in our case, we have offices in Texas, New York, Plus, we do a lot of our meetings with our clients on Zoom these days. A lot of them don't even see us in our office because we've been doing immigration cases from all over the US and the world. So what we do in this case, Malia, is that we meet with them. Or requires a bona fide marriage. It requires that you make sure that the entry is perfect. And the first thing that we do for these people is we get them the work permit. And now your question may be, how long did it take to get a work permit? Am I correct?
Right, that's absolutely right.
Why do you need a work permit, Malia?
To legally work there.
Exactly.
To legally work.
Now people can legally work and they can get more money.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So now the person, we apply, we get the work permit. And after that, the most important thing which we see is how the person entered in the country. Second thing which we see is, did the person work without papers in the country? Because those things are coming up in immigration. Third thing, we look at adverse factors in the case. Adverse factors can be many. Then the best thing which you do, Malia, in these cases is we go at the interview. Because immigration calls you when they even suspect one thing in a case, they will call you in for the interview. So, Malia, some people tell us that interviews are not happening. So my question to them is, do you know when you're going to be called for the interview? Are you prepared on day one for the interview? That's the critical question in the case. Now, your next question will be, what is going to happen later, correct?
Yes.
So we can also get them a travel document, wherein the person can travel outside the United States and come back. Isn't that nice? So, Malia, before even getting the green card, when they get the work permit, we also try to get them a document to travel to the home country.
Okay.
Example about a person who came here, who hasn't seen his parents for a long time. This is a golden opportunity for them to travel and come back. That is very helpful. And what happens after that? The person comes back. Then the interview process. We make sure that we cross the I's and the T's and we perfect the application. And then we even go to the interview. A question which I get is, Mr. Gehi, does your firm even go to other states? Yes, we do. We have clients from all over the United States. And the easy way to get in touch with us is we can even have a Zoom consultation and we start your case. And we have clients from all nationalities. We have a lot of people from the UK, from India, from from Eastern Europe, from Africa, from every part of the world, from Australia, from Japan, Korea. So it doesn't matter what's your nationality, or as far as your spouse speaks English, we can help you. Plus, we speak a lot of different languages. Now, your other question might be, Malia, which you had asked me earlier, is what happens if they don't pass the interview?
That's absolutely right. Yes.
Isn't that scary?
That's terrific for people who would have left their countries.
It's terrible for them.
Yes.
It is terrible for them because when you don't pass the interview, you'll be called to another interview, which is very, very difficult. They separate both of them. And they can ask you 100 questions. And by the way, the good news is, even if you get called for the second interview, our law firm can prepare you. We won those cases too, wherein people had a second interview. Prior results do not guarantee future similar outcome, but we won those cases too. So a lawyer plays a very critical role in the marriage-based immigration process. Very important role. Now, let's go to same-sex marriages. You have a lot of clients coming in for same-sex marriages, especially from the fashion industry, from the airline industry. We have a lot of clients from actors, performers, musicians, And what I tell them is that you need an experienced lawyer who knows about same-sex marriages. For same-sex marriages, some officers ask a lot of questions because some officers feel that it's easy for people to cheat and get the green card in those cases. So, a woman living with a woman, she'll say, no big deal. Be careful. Because if you get caught in immigration for marriage fraud, there may be serious consequences, including deportation. Deportation. And I've seen officers saying that if you don't confess, they tell the US citizen that I'm going to put you in jail. So the role of a lawyer in every case, including a marriage-based immigration case between same-sex marriages and opposite sex, is very important. And people sometimes get denied. And there are other factors that come up in a marriage-based immigration case and which people forget. Today, Malia, you may be happily married, but tomorrow after the paperwork goes in, the lady is saying, I don't want to help you anymore. I'm done with you. They're fighting every day. So you're risking yourself by not having a lawyer. And the stakes are very high. So there's a saying in English, better be safe rather than sorry. That is the mantra that people need to follow when they're doing the immigration work. Now, Malia, let's talk about some other things. The first that what happens now is generally in these cases, people get a 2-year green card first. Can you tell me why?
Well, I'm not that aware of these things.
Okay, good. I'll tell you why. Everyone has the same answer like you did. 2-year, because Malia is, telling of how for newcomers, especially that's what she's here for. If your marriage is less than 2 years, then immigration gives you a 2-year green card because they want to make sure that you married the person with an intent to establish your life with the person. Means you want to live with the person and you want to establish your life. So that is very, very important. Second thing is that if your marriage is beyond the 2-year period, and if you're married to a citizen or otherwise, then they send you a 10-year green card, especially in marriage-based immigration cases. Now, sometimes we've gotten cases, we specialize in marriage-based immigration cases here. We've done thousands of them in our firm. Marriage-based immigration, fiancé visas, we do it all the time. So now, in marriage-based immigration cases, sometimes you have clients, same sex or opposite sex. They were married before, the marriage did not go through. Now they found someone else. We handle those cases too. Those are complicated cases and help is available here. There are people who have criminal records. Sometimes they feel they cannot get the green card. We handle those cases too. There are people who get married to citizens and they have deportation orders. We can handle those cases too. There are people who are married and the spouse does not want to go for the interview. We have those people too. So anytime, wherever there's a complicated issue, we also have an office in Texas now, in Dallas, and the phone number is right behind your screen when people want to call. Doesn't matter which state you are in, we can fight a marriage-based immigration case. Now, there are some people who tell me, Mr. Gehi, my case has been denied because the officer did not believe my marriage. Be very careful. You need to check it up immediately with a very experienced lawyer, whether you have been charged with marriage fraud under 204C. If you're charged with marriage fraud, you're gone. Most of your avenues come to an end in this country. So please do not take your marriage-based immigration case lightly. It's important for you to make sure that you actually put your best foot forward when you're dealing with your marriage-based immigration case. Now, Malia, now take an example.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful same-sex marriage couple, right? They got
Right.
So that's what the next step. Correct? After 2 years, what do we do? Correct? Because
yes. Exactly.
now, before that, what immigration wants to see is whether they have evidence they've been living together. And then before the expiration of 2 years, from the date of your green card, you have to apply for removal of conditional residence. Means now you're telling immigration that you want to get a 10-year green card, a permanent green card. Now, there are two things that can happen over here, Malia. Number one is you're happily married still. Fantastic. But still you don't have enough documents. If you do not have enough documents, and if your testimony is not correct, the officer has the right to send you before deportation charge,
Right.
before the court.
Correct. So, Mr. Gehi, like, what are the strategies, sex couples employ to ensure a well-documented, like you just said that
Right.
it's very important to have documents, right? So
Right.
what are those, like, what are the examples that we can have for the documents?
See, for that, it's a very subjective issue. Some people have 2 documents, they may not have 3 documents.
Correct.
The role of the law is very critical because sometimes the general document says that exactly you're living together, you have a marriage certificate, you have a lease. That is not enough by itself. Because the burden of proof under immigration law is on you to show
Correct.
that you're happily married. So how do I build that, Malia? Tell clients to come to office. We tell clients to come on Zoom.
Exactly.
To come on Google Meet, and we prepare them for that.
Absolutely right.
By the way, someone asked me a question. How many questions do you have to answer correctly? Suppose now, Malia, you went for the marriage-based interview. Next question will be how many questions you have to answer correctly, correct?
That's absolutely right.
Officers expect you to get a 10 out of 10.
Oh, God.
If you get 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, I've seen officers say, I'm not convinced, I think there's something wrong. So you have to be very careful when you're dealing with a marriage-based immigration case. And you have to make sure that you fire with all your guns so that you are successful in the marriage-based immigration case. Now, there's another twist to this, and this is going to be a very important session for everyone. And I'd request our team to make sure that this marriage-based immigration is kind of, goes everywhere on YouTube, etc., and every channel, so that people really understand the nuts and bolts of marriage-based immigration. Now, there are people in this country, Malia, they've crossed the border and they came in. They cannot get the green card here, but still there's good news for them. They may still qualify for the green card. And sometimes people get surprised when I tell them, yes, if your provisional waiver is approved, and if you don't have adverse factors in your application, you can still qualify for the green card. So, by crossing the border by itself does not disqualify you for the green card. So that's why it is very important for people to deal with seasoned immigration lawyers, especially when they're dealing with, critical issues that involve crossing the border, crimes, or working, not paying taxes, working off the books, or overstays. You need good lawyers. And doesn't matter where you are, you can choose a lawyer from anywhere in the US. This is a general misconception that my lawyer has to be from the state. The answer is no. Your lawyer can be located anywhere in the US. That is very important. But experience does matter a lot in these cases. I have actually been on the federal committee of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. I'm a trial lawyer. I'm a litigator. I've done deportation cases. I appear in federal court. So I understand the bigger picture. And as you rightly know, that I've received the Super Lawyers 2023. We also got the Lawyers of Distinction recently. So this is Gehi and Associates. And we make sure that our clients, and we specialize in marriage-based immigration, especially me. And I do a lot of marriage-based immigration cases. I love helping people. And sometimes, now let's twist the card a bit. Now let's talk about the last pertinent issue in marriage-based immigration. You are over here. You went abroad and you're marrying a member of the same sex. That country doesn't allow your same-sex marriage. We also handle those cases. There are ways around it. And with a good lawyer, you may be able to get through with that. Now, let's talk about an opposite-sex marriage. You're married to someone, and that person is stuck in a foreign country for a long time. We handle those cases too. You have to take those cases to federal court. And after the federal court rules on it, the good news is that you will be able to join your spouse and qualify for a green card in the United States. So, folks, marriage-based immigration can involve many different aspects. Sometimes, Malia, what happens? People are in a marriage, and the foreigners here married to this person, and this person is abusing them, beating them up. There is a law for that too. You don't have to take torture from anybody in America. So the good news is that lady or that man who's being subjected to torture can self-sponsor themselves without any help from that torturer, who's an American citizen or a green card holder. This is excellent. So in those cases, I would strongly recommend people to have a lawyer, because you are climbing Mount Everest on your own now. Before you had your partner helping you, but now you're without a partner, you're climbing Mount Everest. So make sure that in these cases, you have to fire with all your guns and go with a very, very important, very good lawyer. So folks, I hope you all enjoyed the session. And, if there's any question, do you have any questions, Malia?
Yes, we've got a few questions. So the first one is is there any specific eligibility criteria for sponsoring a same-sex spouse for a green card?
Number one, I prefer, it's not a must. If the person does not have a divorce order, it helps. Person does not have a criminal record, it helps a lot. And if the person has a legal entry, it helps a lot. So these are the three things that I look at very carefully. And if the person has worked in the United States, the lawyer would like to know, because if you don't mention that, that can get you into troubled waters.
Correct. So there's another question. It is, can you elaborate on discrepancies that might arise between state and federal recognition of same-sex marriage?
The good thing in America, especially, it's governed under DOMA. DOMA is the Defense of Marriage Act, which has been kind of done away with by President Obama. So you're allowed to get married to anyone in America now. So him, she, he, everything is permissible in the United States now. So anyone can marry anyone. It's a free country. And, so I've had cases wherein some people from some religion said that, this is someone from the Middle East who said that I'm not going to allow you, the parents, to marry someone because this is against our religion. And the parents were against it. You cannot stop anybody in America, folks. You cannot. And if the person is over the age of 18, they can get married to a person of the same sex. 18 in New York, I would say. 17 is the consent, I believe, but every state is different. But even your parents cannot stop you. The law is the law, and the law has to be respected.
Absolutely, Mr. K. So we've also got a question. It's like, what challenges do international couples face when one partner is from a country that does not recognize as same-sex marriage?
That's why you need a lawyer there. I've done that too. And the thing is that the lawyer's job becomes very important in those cases. In those cases, what do you have to do? You have to make sure that exactly, the lawyer tells you to go to a country, but then you get married, and then after that, or there are other options, because if you're from the UK, you may be allowed to come to America. You may be allowed to come to America under the ESTA program or the Visa Waiver Pilot program. You get married here, go back. There are other possibilities too. But the role of a lawyer in these cases is critical, because I've had people I do a lot of cases of same-sex marriages from the fashion industry, from the airline industry, and some very high up CEOs and everything. And I've handled tons of cases that needs my personal attention.
Absolutely. If anybody is also looking for that, they could contact us. We've got our website, we've got our number as well. You could contact us whenever.
And our website is kehilaw.com.
Yes.
And www.kehilaw.com. Yeah, Malia, if you could shift a bit, they can see it, I believe.
Sure.
On the other side.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, that's
got
fine.
all the details right here.
Great.
If anybody's looking forward to have a consultation.
Yeah, and we handle immigration cases from all over the United States and the world. And so anything on marriage-based immigration, doesn't matter if in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, just you can reach out to us and our team will be happy to help you. And, you can reach out to Malia. She's one of our key members in the company. and she'll be happy to help out in these cases. So as I said, even if your marriage-based case is denied, if the person has overstayed the visa, that's a big issue. Those can get complicated. We can help you. Overstay means overstaying your visa and working unlawfully. We help you with those cases. There's nothing to be scared. I cannot emphasize the importance of a good lawyer in these cases, because when you go for the interview, some of these officers are very, very, very conservative in terms of making decisions, and they can really be very intimidating at times. So therefore, it's very important for you to make sure that you go with a good lawyer who can stand up for your rights and help your spouse to get a green card in the United States or outside the United States. And someone had asked me a question, Malia. Can you travel outside the United States if needed? My answer is yes. I handle a lot of high-profile cases. We do a lot of celebrity cases in our firm. And if you're a celebrity, if you want me to go, I'll be happy to go personally. And I've been doing this for a very long time. And if there's anything you'll need in terms of marriage-based immigration, you can let us know. So, Malia, let's basically talk about this topic. And we're going to have that, very soon. So next one is going to be, it's how to fight your deportation, which means it's known as removal defense, how to fight your removal proceedings, or how to get your green card if you have overstayed your visa. So let's split it. So next one is going to be very important if you have to talk about it. And these sessions are going to happen once in a month or whatever it is, but you all will get the dates. Easy thing to do is to subscribe to this video, reach out to Gehi and Associates, and keep an eye on gehilaw.com so you'll know about our next sessions. And besides marriage-based immigration, we handle every type of immigration case, including H-1Bs, marriage-based immigration, deportation. Anything that falls within the realm of immigration is something that Gehi and Associates does for people from the United States and all over the world. In New York, we handle divorces, family law, immigration, bankruptcy, labor law, etc. So the instant program is an attorney advertisement, and prior results do not guarantee future outcome. And we handle immigration cases from all over the US and the world. We have offices in New York City and in Dallas, Texas. The number for Dallas is 413-434-4529. And a golden number to call in New York is 718-263-5999. We'll be back again with some more information. And the next topic in future, which we're going to get a date soon, is going to be how to get your green card if you have overstayed your visa in the United States. Thank you, folks. And thank you, Malia. And
thank you so much, Tom.
The members who put this together. It's been a pleasure being with all of you. And reach us at gehilaw.com or 718-263-5999. And yes, we are open 7 days a week.